The monk who is developing clear comprehension must keep his meditation unbroken through all activities during the waking hours. It is not easy to do, especially on alms round, when he is away from the tranquility of the monastery. For an unmindful meditators, there are many distractions and danger along the way and in the village and towns. To counter these difficulties, monks may undertake a voluntary vow to follow an observance that would reinforce their intention and vigilance during alms round. The observance is known as the practice of carrying meditation to the village and carrying it back to the monastery, or as carrying forth and back the subject of meditation. And the commentary had described 4 kinds of monks. One is able to meditate only while going. And second one can meditate only on the way back. And the third does not meditate at all. Only the 4th kind of monk fulfill the observance and reach his goal. Now we have to look at some of these steadfast practitioners, steadfast monk, as well as the supporting observance and methods they adopted to accomplish their purpose. Last few days we mentioned the Maha-Satipatthana. The commentary gives 4 accounts of monks who use different approach to successfully fulfill their observance and reach their goal. The first account is of Ṭhita Maha-Satipatthana. He spent 19 years practicing with mindful steps the observance of taking meditation to the village and bringing it back. For 19 years he practiced, mindful of his steps, and in the 20th year he gained enlightenment and became an arahant. So this Ṭhita is one who, just by doing what he was supposed to do with great perseverance and patience, and became an arahant worthy of honor from the gods. And the second story is about Ṭhita Mahanaga. Ṭhita Mahanaga lived in the Black Kripa Pavilion, Kala Winli Manda Pavilion, when fulfilling the observance of carrying forth and carrying back the subject of meditation, he resolved to use only two postures: standing meditation, standing postures, and walking postures, walking meditation, for 7 years. This meant that he would not sit or he would not lie down for 7 years. He made the dissolution, he made the resolution with the thought of honoring our bodhisattva's 6 years great struggle practicing meditation and austerities in the forest before becoming the Buddha. After completing the rigorous years of this discipline, Thera Mahanaga practiced the observance of carrying forth and back the subject of meditation for another 16 years. So the commentary says, he also raised his foot only when his mind yoked to the subject of meditation. If he raised his foot with his mind not thus yoked, he turns back again. He too followed the practice of turning back and making the step again whenever he took a step without mindfulness. When the Thera Mahanaga went to the village for alms, he stopped at a distance before entering. It was far enough away so that the villagers could not decide whether it was a cow or a monk standing there. Monks use brown gala robes, so maybe they could be taken for cows. Standing there, he robed himself in preparation for entering the village. When monks are at their monastery, the proper attire includes bearing one shoulder, but when they go out of the monastery or center and enter the village or town, they must cover both shoulders. Then they make a roll of the rope and place it over the left shoulder. That is how the elder robed himself. Then he washed his bowl with water from the water container slung over his shoulder. Before a monk enters a village, he must wash his bowl. That keeps it wet so the food won't stick to the bowl. After washing it, the Thera took a sip of water from the container and held it in his mouth. For what reason does he fill his mouth so? He filled his mouth thinking, let there be no distraction of the mind, even by uttering the words, may you live long, Tika Yuga Hotu, to people who come to worship or give alms, gives me alms. So it is the custom that whenever lay people pay respect to the monk, or whenever people offer food to the monk must say such thing as, may you be well, may you be happy, may you live long, sukhi hotu, tika yuga hotu, etc. The Thera Mahanaga didn't want to say even that because it would be a distraction from his meditation practice. In order not to say anything at all, he would hold water in his mouth. In Pali, the verb for paying respect is abhiwadeti. Abhiwadeti literally means to cause someone to say something. When lay people pay respect, they cause monks to say something. So abhiwadeti has come to mean paying respect. But there are other occasions when a monk must answer if asked a question. During the days of the Buddha, there were no calendars. People often ask monks about the date. Months are divided into the bright half and the dark half, with 15 days in each half. So monks would say it is the fifth day of the bright half, or the fifth day of the dark half, and so on. Sometimes people would ask, how many monks are at your monastery? Monks are expected to give answer. They must know what day of the month it is, and how many months it is, and how many monks are living at their monastery. They must also know much more than this. For people ask questions about the Dharma and other matters. When a monk is asked such question, he must answer even if he is a meditating monk. Otherwise, he will keep silence. So only when asked a question would the Thera Mahanaga swallow the water and give an answer. Then he would take another sip in order to avoid heedless talk. So if no question were asked, on leaving he would spit out the water at the village gate and go on his way. By this avoidance of unnecessary talk, he helped to maintain clear comprehension of domain, his meditation. That Thera attained arahantship at the end of 23rd years of practicing meditation. A third account in the commentary tells 50 monks who spent the rainy season retreat, the Vasa, at the monastery of Kalamba landing place. Monks keep 3 rainy season months as an observance. During these 3 months, monks are not to travel. Monks are not to go outside of their monastery overnight. But there is an exception. If there is an invitation for Dhamma talk, etc., monks can be away for up to 7 days, meaning 6 nights or 6 mornings. On the full moon day of July, the beginning day of the rainy season retreat observance, the 15 monks made an agreement of observance. Without obtaining sainthood, without becoming arhat, we shall not converse with one another. This does not mean that they did not say anything at all. It is forbidden for monks to take a vow of total silence. Total silence, Buddha called the vow of dumb people. So not being dumb people, monks should not act like dumb people, but they do not talk unless it is necessary with one another until attaining arhatship. Like the elder Mahanaga, these monks would enter the village for alms after filling their mouths with water. Keeping the water in their mouths, they went for alms. If asked question, they would spit it out, answer, and then fill their mouths again. And on leaving the village, they would empty their mouths at the gate. People would look at the spots of water there and find out how many monks had come to the village that day. Then these people thought, what indeed is the reason that these monks neither talk with us nor with each other? If they do not speak with each other, surely they are persons who have had a dispute among themselves. The lay people then said, come, we must make them forgive each other. We must make them forgive one another. So they went to the monastery in a group. But when they reached a monastery, they saw 2 monks in the same place. There was a wise man in the group. That wise man said, good people, a place occupied by quarrelsome people is not like this. Look, the body shrine and relish shrine are well swept. They are clean and neat, and the brooms are well arranged. Water for drinking and water for washing are well set. See, everything is in neat order. So this is not a place where people have quarrel amongst themselves. That man said. Realizing at last that these monks must be observing some kinds of vow, the people returned to their village, and the monks of that monastery continued their observance until the end of raining season retreat. In October, when the Pavarana ceremony is held, at this Pavarana ceremony, invitation ceremony, monks invite each other to point out whatever wrongs they might have done during the 3 months of practice. But these monks were able to perform what is called a pure Pavarana ceremony, Visuddhi Pavarana. This means that they were performing it as pure person. They were performing Pavarana as an arahants. For they all had become arahants during the rainy season retreat. The last account is of some monks who practice like Thera Mahanaga, and the monks who observed the rainy season. Those monks raised their foot only with their minds yoked to the thoughts of meditation, with their minds yoked to the practice of meditation. Having reached the neighborhood of the village, they fill their mouths with a draught of water and look at the streets. They enter the street where there were no quarrelsome drunkard, gamester, or such people, or where there were no restive elephants, horses, or dogs, etc. When a monk enters a village, he must be careful. He must know that the road where he is going for alms is safe. If he see animals or people that would be dangerous or troublesome, he must avoid that road and take another for alms round. Thus, wandering for alms, he does not go speedily, like in a great hurry, because there is no ascetic practice in begging food speedily. A monk must look dignified. He must not go fast. He must not run when he is on alms round. The word begging is used to describe monks going for alms. It may give the wrong impression to those who do not understand the practice of monks. The word bhikkhu means monk, comes from bhikkhā, to beg, bhikkhati yagatiti bhikkhu. It is true that a bhikkhu is a person who begs, but the begging of monk is not like that of beggars. Monks do not ask for anything. Monks do not say, please give me this, please, or please give me that, or please give me food, etc. Monks do not ask for anything. The begging of monks is called Ariya begging or noble begging. That means they do not say anything but just stand silently in front of a house. Occupants or residents who knows the custom of monks may come out and offer the monks food or other alms. When a monk is going for alms round like this, he does not go too quickly. Standing at the door of a house, the monk waits for a little while to see if the people inside are willing to give him food. If the people show any signs of unwillingness to give him anything, the monk may pass on to the next house, may receive alms there. After receiving food, he may take it to the village sitting hall where monks often eat. Or he could eat outside of the village or even beg at the monastery. Monks are instructed to eat food with reflection, pichavakana. One such reflection is, I take food not for sport. I take food not for intoxication, not for adornment of my body. I take food not for filling out some parts of the body. But I take food for just enough to practice what the Buddha taught. Monks must make this reflection whenever they eat. So talking while eating is discouraged. They also can practice a kind of meditation called contemplation on the loathsomeness of food. This includes contemplation on unpleasant or repulsiveness aspect associated with food. When a monk practices this kind of meditation, he may think of the trouble of having to go to the village for alms. Nobody wants to go out in the early morning. Even a monk might want to enjoy sleeping. But monk has to go out because he wants food. That is one unpleasant aspect connected with his food. Having to go through the village from one house to another is also unpleasant. Sometimes people may give him food, but sometimes people drive him away with words of abuse. Early morning you come and we have nothing to give you, go away. So people drive the monk away with words of abuse. Whatever treatment the monk receive must be borne with equanimity. And after receiving food, the monk has to put it in the mouth. Then after entering the mouth, he chewed and the food mixed with saliva and becomes loathsome, disgusting. There are many other aspects of loathsomeness of food. A monk may choose any of them for practicing these kinds of meditation when he eats. He sits himself in a place pleasant and good, attends to the thoughts of meditation with the setting up of loathsomeness in food and reflect by way of the simile of exhale greasing, applying ointment to ulcer and feeding upon the flesh of one's own child. So three similes. These three similes may seem unusual. How can eating food be compared to exhale greasing? Where bullock carts are used, grease is put on the axle so that the cart will roll smoothly and not make noise. Food is eaten so that the machine of our body will work well. In this respect, it is like greasing the axle. Another reason for eating food is implied in the second simile. Apply ointments to ulcer. If there is an ulcer or open sore on the body, suitable healing ointment must be applied. Our body is full of ulcer and sore in various stages. Food can be medicinal. Food can heal and repair internal troubles in our body. In this way, eating food is like applying ointment to ulcer. The third simile, eating the flesh of your own child, develops the perception that food is loathsome. When you imagine while eating that you are chewing your own son's flesh, there can be no pleasure, there can be no enjoyment, for desire and greed do not arise. There is only the necessity to eat to stay alive. In the Sutta of Bodhammasupama discourse, Buddha has given the story which is based on this simile. At one time, a man and a woman lost their ways crossing a desert with their only child. On the way, they have no food and no water. So they sat down and discussed what to do. Although they dearly loved their son, they agreed to kill the son and eat his flesh. How they reasoned? They reasoned, if we get out of this wilderness alive, we can get another child. Let us kill this one instead of all three of us perishing in the desert. So they killed their son. The commentary said that the father and mother did not kill their son. The father sent the child to the mother, and the mother sent the child to his father. The child went back and forth. Finally, he collapsed and died. And the parents made dry and roasted of his flesh. They made provision of his flesh, and they ate with great lamentation. And in order to get out of this wilderness alive, they ate the flesh of their own child. The parents acted with clear comprehension of purpose, not out of desire to eat his flesh. It was their only means of remaining alive to find the way out of wilderness samsara. For the same reason, a practitioner is instructed to eat food as though he or she were eating the flesh of his or her own son. He or she is to eat for the sole purpose of keeping his or her body alive to practice what the Buddha taught, not for any other reason. Now we return to the monk who is sitting in a place pleasant and good, eating his alms food and reflecting on one of these similes. For monks, eating is itself a kind of meditation. They are exhorted not to let attachment or anger arise with regard to food. What you eat is not as important as how you eat it. Whether it is meat, fish, or vegetables, the important thing is not to let attachment or not to let anger arise concerning it. Having eaten, he washed, then he rests for a while the body, which is tired from the business of eating. The business of eating is very tired. Apart from the short time that he takes rest to get rid of tiredness from eating, he practices meditation throughout his waking hours. He practices meditation before eating and after eating. During the first watch of the night and the last watch of the night, he practices meditation. He sleeps only during the middle watch of the night from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the early morning. The rest of the time he is practicing meditation. Of the four kinds of monks, this monk is one who carries forth and carries back the subject of meditation. When a person undertakes to practice this observance, he always takes meditation to the village and carry it with him on the way back to the village. He may avoid speaking by filling his mouth with water or by any other means of keeping his meditation uninterrupted. It is said that the person who fulfills the observance of carrying forth and carrying back the subject of meditation reach arahantship even in the period of youth. This means at an early age, the first stage of his life, the life of a man is supposed to be 100 years. The lifespan is divided into three, so the first stage of life means before the age of 33. Such early attainment, however, depends on certain prerequisites. That is, if he is possessed of the sufficing condition, upanishaya, if he is possessed of parami, perfection, if he is possessed of experience in the past, if he fails to reach arahantship in the early stage, then he reach it in the middle stage. If he fails in the middle stage, then he reach it at the time of death. If he fails at the time of death, then he will reach it after becoming a deva, celestial beings. If he failed as a deva, then at the time when no Buddha has appeared on earth, he is born as a man and realized the truth and become a Piccika Buddha. Piccika Buddha is a kind of Buddha called a silent Buddha or semi-Buddha. The attainment of Piccika Buddha lies between the Arahants and the Buddha. Piccika Buddha has found enlightenment on his own, but cannot teach others. So, or if he fails to become Piccika Buddha, then he becomes a who person who intuit, intuits intuits quickly, like the elder Bahiya Darusiriya, or if he fails to become a Pichika Buddha, he becomes a greatly wise one like the elder Sariputta, or he becomes the one of great psychic power, the Theta Moggallana, or he becomes one endowed with clairvoyant power, Devajagu, like Theta Anuruddha, or he becomes an expert on discipline, like the elder Upali, or he becomes an expounder of the Dhamma, Dhammakartika, like Puna Mandani Buddha, or he becomes a forest dweller, Aranyika, like elder Yewata, or he becomes a person of great learning like Thera Ananda, or he becomes a desirous of training Sikagama, that is Thera Rahula, the Buddha's son. So if failing to reach one kind of arahanthood, he will reach another kind. So this is not too encouraging. If the commentary has stopped after the first sentence, it would have been very encouraging. You would reach arahantship in the first stage of life, but if you fail to do so, you will reach it in the middle stage. And if you fail, then you will reach it at the time of death. And if you don't get enlightenment at the time of death, then maybe it will happen in the next life. So this is a kind of practitioner who carries forth and carries back the subject of meditation. You can reach the crest of comprehension of result, Kochara Sampajānakārī. So it is not encouraging. So it need to be encouraged like this. Can you follow me? You would reach arahantship in the first stage of life. If you fail to do so, you will reach it in the middle stage. If you fail, then you will reach it at the time of death. If you don't get enlightenment at the time of death, then it will happen in the next life. So there is a kind of practitioner who carries forth and carries back the subject of meditation. You will reach the crest of comprehension of domain, Kochara Sampajānakārī. The commentary describes this that comprehension as taking the result to the result and back to the result. But properly understood, clear comprehension of domain means the practice of meditation. Without clear comprehension or domain, there can be no fourth clear comprehension of non-delusion, asamoha sampajañña. So we will continue next time. We have to stop our discourse for today. By practicing vipassana meditation, by observing every phenomena occurring at the six senses, by noting rising, falling, sitting, stretching, bending, seeing, hearing, continuously and meticulously, may all yogis be liberated from all suffering. May all yogis realize the real peace in the very near future.